अस्सलामुअलैकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स। इन क्वेश्चंस के अलावा जो कि मैं वीडियोस बना के लगा रहा हूँ, अगर आपको कोई और भी किसी और एक्सरसाइज से कोई और चैप्टर से कोई क्वेश्चन आपने समझना है, पूछना है, तो आप मुझसे रब्ता कर सकते हैं और मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि प्रायोरिटी पे आपके जो बताए हुए क्वेश्चंस हैं वो उसकी वीडियो बना के मैं अपलोड करूँ। पार्ट वन, the quadratic question of question 1 is x square plus px plus q is equal to 0, and we know that let alpha beta be the roots of question. First we find the sum and product of the roots, in which alpha plus beta is equal to minus b over a, and we put the values of b and a in the question. We get minus p over 1, which is minus p, and the product is alpha beta, which whose question is c over a. Now we put the values of c and a in the formula. We get c is equal to q and a is equal to 1, which is q. And first we evaluate the values of alpha square plus beta square, and we mold this alpha square plus beta square into alpha plus beta and alpha beta product, which is alpha plus beta whole square minus minus 2 alpha beta, and then we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in this equation. We get minus p whole square minus 2 into q. Now we solve it. Minus pq minus p square is equal to p square minus 2q, and it is the answer of part 1. And in the part second, alpha 3 beta plus alpha beta 3. Here we know that alpha plus beta is equal to minus p, and alpha beta is equal to, which is product, q, and we mold this formula according to these values. Alpha 3 beta plus alpha beta 3, take common alpha beta, and the remaining values are alpha square plus beta square. Alpha beta, this value is converted into alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta, and then we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. We get alpha beta is q, alpha plus beta is equal to minus p whole square minus 2 into q. Now simplify these values. We get q p square minus 2q, and it is the answer of part second. And the part third is alpha over beta plus beta over alpha. So we convert these values into requirement. Here take common calcium, take LCM alpha beta. The remaining values are alpha square plus beta square. This is alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta over alpha beta. Now we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in this question. We get minus p whole square minus 2q over q. Now we simplify these values. P square minus 2q over q. The question for question 2 is 4xk minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Here it is a quadratic question. When compared with the standard question, we get a is equal to 4, b is equal to minus 5 and c is equal to 6. And we know that alpha beta be the roots of the question. Let alpha beta be the roots of question, and now we find the sum and product of the roots, which is alpha beta. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus b over a, and we put the value of b and a in the question. We get minus 5 over 4, and then we simplify it, we get 5 over 4. And the other is product mean alpha beta, which is c over a. Put the value of a, c and a, we get 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2, and it is the product of alpha beta. And next we start the 4 parts in this question. The first part is 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta. Take LCM alpha beta as a numerator, alpha beta plus alpha, and we write it alpha plus beta over alpha beta. Now we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. We get 5 over 4 over 3 over 2. Now simplify it. 5 over 4 multiplied by 2 over 3. Simplify further. 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 5 ones are 5 over 2 threes are 6. And this is the answer of part 1. Next, the second part, which is alpha square beta square. Alpha square beta square, and we write it alpha beta whole square. And we put the value of alpha beta, which is the product of the roots alpha beta, which is 3 over 2 whole square. And then simplify it, it is 9 over 4. And answer of part 2. The third part is 1 over alpha square beta, 1 over alpha square beta plus 1 over alpha beta square. Now we take LCM alpha square beta square, and when simplify we get alpha plus beta. Now we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta product, alpha plus beta over alpha beta whole square. Now we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Here we get 5 over 4 over 3 over 2 whole square. Now simplify them. 5 over 4 multiplied by 2 over 3 whole square. Simplify these values, we get 5 over 4 multiply by 4 over 9, and we get 4 cancel with 4, 5 over 9 is the answer of part 3rd. Part 4th of the question 2, which is alpha square over beta plus beta square over alpha. First we mold them in the form of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. First take LCM alpha beta, and the remaining values are alpha 3 plus beta 3. Now it is cube, beta cube. Now we convert them into alpha beta and alpha plus beta. Here alpha plus beta alpha plus beta whole 3 minus 3 alpha beta alpha plus beta over alpha beta. Now we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in the equation. We get alpha plus beta is equal to 5 over 4, 5 over 4 whole cube minus 3 alpha beta is 3 over 2 into alpha plus beta is equal to 5 over 4 over 3 over 2. Now simplify these values. Take cube of 5 over 4, we get 125 over 64 minus 3 3s are 9, 9 5s are 45 over 8 over 3 over 2. Now we simplify these values. Take LCM, which is 64, 125 minus 64 divided by 8, we get 8, 8 8s are 64, and then multiply 45 with 8, we get 360 over 3 over 2. Now simplify these values, we get minus 235 over 64 multiply by 2 over 3. Now we further simplify these values, we get 2 1s are 2, 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4. And the remaining values are multiply each other, minus 2 over 35 over 32, 3s are 96. Question 3, which is Lx square plus mx plus n is equal to 0. Here a is equal to L, b is equal to m, and c is equal to n. And we know that alpha beta be the roots of the question. Let alpha beta be the roots of question. So first we find the sum and product of the roots, which is sum of root is alpha plus beta is equal to minus b over a. And the values of b and a in the question, we get minus m over l. And the other is alpha beta, product of the roots, whose answer question is c over a. Now we put the value of c and a in the question, we get n over r. These are two, sum of the roots and product of the roots. Now let's start part 1, in which the values evaluate for alpha 3 beta square plus alpha square beta 3. So first we mold this equation in the form of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Take common alpha square, beta square, the remaining values are alpha plus beta, and we write it alpha beta whole square into alpha plus beta. Here is alpha, and then we put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in the question. We get n over L whole square into minus m over L, and then simplify these values. We get n square over L square into minus m over L. The answer is minus m n square over L3, and it is the answer of part 1. And the part 2 is 1 over alpha square plus 1 over beta square, 1 over alpha square plus 1 over beta square. And now first we mold these values in the form of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. Take first LCM, alpha square beta square, and the numerator is beta square plus alpha square, and we write it also alpha square plus beta square over alpha beta whole square. And further we convert alpha square plus beta square into alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta over alpha beta whole square. And now finally we put the value of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in this equation. We get alpha plus beta is equal to minus m over L whole square minus 2 into alpha beta is n over L, and alpha beta whole square is equal to n over L whole square. Now simplify these values. Minus m over L is whole square is equal to m square over L square minus 2n over L over n square over L square. Now we further simplify these values. We take LCM of these two values, which is L square, and this is m square minus L square divided by L. We get 1L, L, and 1L is multiplied by 2n. We get 2nL. Multiply by, this is denominator. When shifted on the numerator side, we get L square over n square. And then we simplify these values. L square cancel with L square, and the value is m square minus 2nL over n square.